What's it gonna be? What was that, Shay? Is that the intro to the new video? Hey guys, welcome back to another BioLayne video log. I'm sorry, weekly training summary. Well, hopefully I got my one screw up out of the way. Started off with our mandatory loco acting awkward and silly in front of the camera for the funny lead-in. You'll see what actually caused that commotion later. That was her after her AMRAP deadlift set. So we won't hold that against her. She wasn't being awkward. She was just being funny. So as you'll notice, so this is my first day of the week. This is the weight is 500 pounds. I'm doing 4 sets of 8. Remember, I'm squatting 4 times a week now, so 4 sets of 8 with 500, and these really felt good, really good. I mean, they were moving, and I even, as you could see on a couple of those, I hit the safety catch, and that kind of messed me up, but it still moved super smooth. I don't think 500 pounds for 8 has ever moved that smooth for me. You'll notice I'm at a different gym here. This is actually LA Fitness. And that is because my wife works at LA Fitness because they have childcare. But we really have kind of gotten away from working out with each other, not because we wanted to, but because just, I train at Powerhouse and she trains where, somebody can watch Robert at LA Fitness. And so, we're trying to make it a priority to get at least one workout together a week. I think that's important. We always used to work out together, and that was one of our favorite things to do. So I've been going in once a week with her, and a lot of fun. Now, I definitely get a lot of looks when I go in this place, but so far everybody's been very nice, and haven't gotten any comments or anybody running to tell management about how mean I am. So far so good. And actually, Isabel hit a nice. I don't know if it's an all-time PR for her, but definitely a volume PR and definitely a PR for her speed on this. So this is her with 105 pounds on bench, and she's not really training for anything right now. She's just continuing to try to improve and whatnot. I think at some point she'll come out and talk about it, but it's taken her a little bit longer to kind of recover from Robert. Our son's been awesome, but she didn't need a C-section to have him. There's her giving her funny face. So, and that kind of recovery took her a lot longer. So, but she's really been crushing it recently, and really been consistent with everything. And I'm super proud of her. Here's deadlifts. This is same day, a little bit later in the day. As you can see, I switched outfits. So I went home to deadlift, and this was 575 for 5 sets of 6. And they moved pretty smooth. Not, I wouldn't say they were fast or anything, but they were pretty good. So, for the amount of squat volume I'm doing, for 575 for 6s for this many sets and moving this smooth, I'm pretty happy. Oh, and for those new viewers, I only filmed the first and last sets, and that's because if I filmed every set, these updates, instead of being 30 minutes long, would be an hour and a half long, and ain't nobody got time for that. So here's bench. As you guys know, I'm benching. I'm doing 5 sessions a week, 3 days a week. So 2 of those days are double sessions. So this is my I'm sorry. This is my AM session. I had a weird mix of weights on there because I was also deadlifting at the same time. So I was supersetting deadlift and bench to cut down on time. So this is 325 for 4 sets of 4 in my AM session. And it was moving pretty smooth, I felt. I was pretty happy with it. Last one was a little bit difficult, but we got it. So this is, I took a rest day, and then this is the next day. So this is squats, and this is 530 for 5 sets of 6. Now, first one was a little bit slow right there, but it actually got a lot better. as you guys know, I've always dealt with people kind of criticizing my squat form because I lean forward so much. And I've discussed ad nauseum why I do that. But just a real quick physics, biomechanics lessons for those who are new and will invariably ask the question, why does your squat look like that? I'm 5'10" and a half. My femurs are the length of somebody who's probably about 6'2". And since the bar must stay over your center of gravity, which is your midfoot, in order for me to do that, I have to have a significant amount of forward lean, otherwise I will not hit parallel, or I would fall forwards or backwards. It's just how it goes. If I try to stay more upright, the bar would no longer be over my midfoot, and I would fall backwards. So that's not fun when you're dealing with 500 or 600 pounds. But these moved really smooth. They weren't easy by any stretch of the imagination, but as far as 540 pounds goes, they were moving a lot smoother. You guys who are used to me, I switched shoes from the Adipowers to the Powerlift trainers. And again, I cannot emphasize how much that has helped me. I think having a smaller heel, but also being able to drive my knees out in these shoes makes a huge difference. So there's a lot of people in the gym this day, so I decided to take some videos of other people too. Here's Lauren Conlon. For those of you who don't know, she's an IFBB bikini pro who also is going to do her first powerlifting meet as well. She wanted something to do to keep her focused in the off season, and her boyfriend Ryan is a powerlifter, and of course she trains around a bunch of powerlifters, so she's going to powerlift. So ladies, for those of you who think that lifting will make you bulky, it will not. Muscle looks good, fat looks bulky. So this is what caused her to be so out of breath. I think she got to the end, I told her one more. She pulled it, and it was so nice. I was like, one more. And she wasn't really happy with me afterwards. So you'll get to see her kind of collapse after this one. I think she did like 11 reps for 205, which is definitely a big PR for her. Poor girl. Here's Che Anthony. Che is a powerlifter at our gym. He weighs around 150 pounds. I think his best squat is around 365, and this is actually 315 here. And these look pretty smooth for him. I don't know when his next meet is going to be, but I know he did the meet that I did in Boca Raton, and really did well. I believe he won his class, so he's a really good young lifter, and he was hitting 315 for doubles that day. This is Kevin Serrano. I think this is 385 here. I could be wrong. And Kevin is also a competitive powerlifter. So there's a lot of good lifters in the gym that day throwing around some weights, so that was fun. Another bench. Oh, you know what? I didn't film the PM session of my other benches, so I'm sorry about that, guys. I missed it. It was 305 for 4 sets of 6 was my PM session. So this is my my second bench day of the week, my AM session, which was 345 for 5 sets of 3. And as you can tell, they were a little bit of a grind, but we got them finished. They were they were a little difficult. We got them finished. So now the PM session was a lot different. So for the night session, I went to Ben and Ryan's place. I'm squatting here with 565 for 5 sets of 4, and on the first rep, I don't know what happened. I just totally lost my focus and almost went down, shaking my head. I'm at Ben and Ryan's place, and Ryan was actually Instagramming a selfie of me in the background, and he saw me almost bomb out in that first rep, and he was like, "Oh shit!" and came running over, and then I proceeded to do 3 more. So he just kind of looked at me and laughed afterwards, like, dude, something's wrong with you. So I mean, I don't know why, I just wasn't feeling very good that night. When you're benching, Ryan's just looking at me like, "What's wrong with you, dude?" But when you're squatting 4 days a week, invariably there's going to be a day where you're not feeling great. And typically, for whatever reason, the last few weeks, it's been my sets of 4. Those have been my most difficult. But it's you grind it out and you get through it. So, was it pretty? No, but we got it done. And Ryan proceeded to show everybody the video to show them how horrible my squat was afterwards. I mean, it was funny because it actually started to come up pretty smooth, and then it was like I just forgot to stop, just forgot to keep squatting. And you know, Ben is used to seeing me do grinders. That's my coach, Ben Escrow. And he looked at the video and he goes, "Oh well, that was pretty bad." so um, so Paul actually came and joined us later. And as you can see, the fifth set of four actually moved smoother than the first set. So one thing I'm good at is I don't let one bad rep affect me. I just go right back. I had a moment where I thought about just racking it after that first rep, and then I decided not to be a bitch and finish. Um, you know, you're gonna have bad reps here and there, but the way I see it, if I'm still standing up, then I can do one more, and then we'll deal with whatever rep comes after that when we get there. So here's me benching that night. I had 325 for 5 sets of 5, and I actually failed on a rep of one of the sets, and so we knocked it down to 315. So I was kind of pissed about that, but actually, looking back on it, I think it was because I got out of line on one of the reps, and if I hadn't gotten out of line, I wouldn't have failed. So it is what it is. I was kind of upset about that, but what are you gonna do? Decided to take some footage of Vin. He actually was in an introductory microcycle here, so I think this is like 275, and he's doing, I think, for 9s or 10s. I've talked a lot about Ben, and he's a great coach. And a lot of times people kind of have this ego thing where they're like, "Oh, well, what can somebody teach me?" Because I squat 150 pounds more than Ben. And so, some people look at that and be like, well, why would you have him coaching you? And that's because everybody has different genetics, you can't overlook that. I think people overlook that so much. I'm not saying that as an excuse. I'm just saying it as a matter of fact. Do I have unbelievable genetics? I don't think so. I think I'm, pretty average or above average. I think one thing I do have is I don't get really injured very easily, knock on wood. Here's some video of Paul deadlifting after we finished. I don't get injured very easily, so that allows me to kind of keep training for a long period of time and just slowly accumulate marginal gains. Ben tends to be injury prone, but because of that, he's become so good at the technical aspects of the lifts, because if he's not, okay, so just breaking thought real quick. So this is 610 for 4 sets of 4, and then a 5th set, which was an AMRAP. So, Ben has to be good at all aspects of the lift, because if he doesn't do it just right, he gets hurt. That's just unfortunate for him that he's a very, very long physique and just gets injured very easily. So he has to do everything just right. So here's my AMRAP with 610, which I got 9 reps, which I was pretty freaking stoked about. That's an all-time PR. And I think it translated to something stupid like a 760-pound deadlift, which I know is not what my max is. I'm better for reps than I am for a max, but I also know that it is going up, so I'm happy about that. But when I look at somebody who can coach me, I just look at, do they have knowledge? Do they have knowledge? And Ben's knowledge of programming, program and design, and periodization, in my opinion, is one of the best in the world. And so that's why I choose to have him help me, because he can provide me with something I can't provide myself. Do I understand programming? Do I understand periodization? Sure, of course. But having kind of a unbiased person to help me program makes a huge difference. So here's squats. So this was 5 sets of 2 with 600, and then an AMRAP set. And here on the AMRAP, we got 5, which I was pretty stoked about. Ben texted me afterwards, and he's like, "You realize that 1 rep max is like a 690 squat?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I tend to be better for reps, but it definitely says that my max is going up, or should be going up, based on the numbers I'm hitting." So I'm pretty pleased with everything, and really, I can't. I'm gonna sell a bunch of shoes for Adidas, but I can't believe how much of a difference the shoes have made, and the difference in driving my knees out. So this was the same day Paul was in the gym lifting, and he was doing 455 on deadlift for, I think, doubles. like 4 doubles and then an AMRAP, and he got 5 on his AMRAP, which is an all-time PR for him. Paul's another real long guy. He's had to be very, very cautious with how he does things because he tends to get kind of injured a lot as well. He's been dealing with some knee pain with squats, and so he really just has to be very, very conscious of when he lifts. And as you can tell, his form is very technical. He pulls the slack out of the bar, he packs his lats, and then he presses through the ground and stays in position. A lot of people miss deadlifts because they don't stay in position and they rush it. Okay, so this is Sunday of the next week. This is my first squat day, first of 4 sessions. And this is 505 for 5 sets of 8. And this is the first set. Once again, moving pretty darn smooth. I was pretty happy about this. My squats are, it's funny, I'll go online and I'll see guys who, a squat that's, this percentage of their max, and they'll just blow it up. It'll be like, it'll just be like, a split second it takes them to do the positive. I've never been that fast of a squatter. I'm just not. My squats, when I get above 80%, they very, very rarely look fast. In fact, when I'm warming up, I think most people think I'm not going to squat over 550 pounds because of how slow my reps are. But I just, for whatever reason, I've always been really good at grinding. I don't let a slow rep deter me from continuing. I think part of that's probably also the style squat, because I'm a low bar, more forward lean, that sort of thing. So my sticking point is different than a lot of people. But regardless, I've been feeling really, really good about my squats. Really good about my squats. I can't remember the last time I felt this confident in my squats. And compared to the numbers I was hitting comparing the training block before Raw Nationals where I squatted 650 for this training block, it's not, I'm not blowing those numbers out of the water, but they're right now are significantly better. And how I feel hitting those numbers is significantly better. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can do at the Arnold. I really feel like I'm set up to hit a really big PR total and have a great meet as long as I do my job and execute correctly. So here's the so this is actually a bench session from the week before. So I had to run my last bench session into my first squat session for the next week, if that makes sense. So this is my 5th bench session from the week before, and it was 365 for 5 singles and then the AMRAP. And on the AMRAP, I got 2. I thought I might have had a third in there, but I didn't want to chance it. So this is the next day. This is the first bench session of the following week. So this is 325 for 5 sets of 4. And I actually felt like these were moving smoother than the week before, which I was really happy about. For bench for me is definitely my weakest lift. And I told Ben, I said, I'm tired of missing 400. I'm tired of missing 400. I want that 400. Part of it is probably, if I had chosen to stay at 220 or 230, I would have hit that 400 bench by now, most likely. But I cut down to 205 because that's a better weight class for me for powerlifting, and obviously the USAPL and IPF are first 205 and then 231. So unless I wanted to be really heavy in the 231 class, because my natural competing weight is probably about 220 for powerlifting. And I'd be, there's guys in 231 who are totaling mid 1800s, so it'd be a significant jump up. Not that I think I wouldn't have a good shot, but I think I'm better at this class. But when you lose that kind of weight, it definitely makes it more difficult on bench. But my bench has stayed the same during that about 16, 17 pound weight loss. So in reality, my bench has improved relative to my body weight. My absolute bench strength hasn't, but my relative bench strength has. Okay, so second squat session of the week, 5 sets of 6 reps with 540. This was, I don't want to say it was moving fast, but it wasn't moving slow. It was moving pretty good pace. Again, those of you who have been watching my training logs, have seen my training logs, you've seen me do sets of 6 or even like 8 with each rep being painfully slow. So, these felt pretty good. my following session with the fours, that's the one that tends to get me for whatever reason. The fours are like my nemesis. If I can make it through that fours day, I'm good to go. Last rep right there was a little difficult, but we made it through. So bench wise, this is 305 for 5 sets of 6. It's my second bench session that day. So I did the first bench session in the morning, and then the squat and bench at night. So these 305 for 5 sets of 6, they felt pretty good. Kind of got a little slow near the end, but again, with bench, I just want to get those reps in, man. And Ben told me, he said, after this block, if you don't hit 400, I'm retiring from programming. So, for all of Ben's clients out there and people who follow him, we don't want him to retire from programming, so I better hit that 400-pound bench. No, Ben is a great guy, and he really does some phenomenal work. If you're lucky enough to get on for his as a client, I'm pretty sure he's full. But if you can get on with him, he's awesome. Here was deadlift session that same night. Long day. 585 for 6 sets of 6. Pretty brutal. But it's one of those things you just grind, baby. You grind. But you know what? These actually moved okay. And I got my new Iron Tanks lever belt on there. I'm testing that out. I'm not going to use it at the Arnold just because I haven't broken it in yet. But I want to use it in the future, obviously. I really like Iron Tank stuff. As you guys know, I'm sponsored by them now. And especially the lever, the actual lever, the metal lever. You guys know a while back I had problems with those. And I shattered levers from Inzer, from Titan, and from Lifting Large. And so far, the Iron Tanks lever is the only one I haven't been able to shatter. So here's Che Anthony. You guys saw him earlier. This is his deadlift AMRAP with 520. I believe he got 4 or 5 here, and this is a big PR for him. So he was pretty jacked up. Yeah, 5 here. I got right up in his face and let him have it. Tell him to stay in position, and it was slow, but when you stay in position on sumo, you finish. So I was stoked for him. Second bench day of the week. This was 345 for 6 sets of 3. As you see there in that first one, it actually moved kind of slow. I'm still getting used to using a wider grip. As you guys know, you can go back and look at my old videos from like Raw Nationals. I had a pretty narrow grip, and I have moved that out significantly because I finally realized that I was really putting myself at a disadvantage. I think the reason I liked using that narrow grip is because it made me fast off the chest, but the problem was I'd be fast off the chest and super slow to lock out. So by widening up my grip, I'm a little bit slower off the chest, but much smoother through the whole movement. Third squat session of the week, and this one was the toughie. 6 sets of 4 with 575. This is pretty brutal, but we got through it. And actually, LS McLean came and worked out with me. He was in town. And LS, for those of you who don't know, won Raw Nationals in my weight category, the 205 class, in 2013. And then I won it in 2014, and LS got runner-up. So I know we're supposed to hate each other, blah, 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 blah. But LS is a real cool guy. And so, we got some good training in. It's funny because you guys are going to see LS is an absolute freak on the bench press. I mean, his opener would be more than my third attempt. And I'm not even. That's not even him and Han over it. He will open up higher than I finished with on bench on my best day. So that's why I need my squat and deadlift to be awesome. So as you can see, those 4s were not easy with 575 for 6 sets, but we grinded it out and got them. Man, those look slow seeing them now. So Paul was in there for a little bit with me. This bench session was 325 for 6 sets of 5. You guys remember in the previous week, this was the workout where I failed on. I think it was my 4th set I failed, and I had to drop down to 315. So I was really amped up to make sure that I got it this time. So you can see LS spotting me here on my last set. Um, and first one goes up good, second one goes up good, third one a little bit slower. And by this time, I'm like, come on, stay in position, stay in position. That one was pretty slow, and LS yelled me to finish here. It got a little bit out of position on that one and grinded it out. Now, I think LS gave me a little bit. He said he didn't. So, I don't know, but we'll see. Here's him with 455. Oh, ho hum, pause, and finish. Good God. I just, still seeing that is just crazy to me. And here's him manhandling 405 for reps. Just an absolute freakazoid. Um, Crazy to watch that. 405 for like 5 reps. Just unreal. Um, he's just, yeah, what can I say? Just awesome, awesome bench presser. And here's him doing 315 for ultra long pauses. Yeah, you could read a book in between his reps there. So it's very motivating to me to have outlifters like LS and Bryce Lewis and Motsy and some of the other guys in the 205 class, the 93 kilo class is just stacked. Um, you know, um, right after Raw Nationals, when I won that weight class, um, I told myself I'm not going to get complacent. I'm not going to rest on this. These guys were going to be coming after me, and I'm really going to make sure that I keep training hard, give it everything I got to make good showings afterwards. So here's deadlift. This is 620 for 5 sets of 4, and then the 6th set for an AMRAP. On the AMRAP set here, I get 7 reps. So not as good a performance as the week before where I got 610 for 9. But I think I'm starting to get into the overreaching phase of things here. And so performance is starting to drop off just a little bit. So I wasn't too upset about it. Once you've been through enough overreaching phases, you realize that there's just a certain point at which your performance starts to drop off. And, that's okay. But I still give it everything I got every time I step in the gym. So I was a little concerned about going in for 6 sets of doubles with 610 and then the AMRAP for a 7th set. But actually on the first set, it moved pretty well. And just to think that I'm pretty much doubling, I don't want to say easily, but with authority, weight that used to be my max a couple years ago. So here's the AMRAP set with 610 and ended up getting 4. Was really happy with that. And stayed pretty much in position. There might have been a 5th one there, but sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. And I still got a full training block to go. There's no reason to go crazy and end up bottoming out and hurting myself. So we'll save that for next time. Then on bench, we had 365. I only got 1 set. My AMRAP, it was 6 sets of singles and then an AMRAP. Got 3 on the AMRAP, which ties an all-time PR. Stoked about that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we will catch you next time. I'm out.